So, 35 days to go. I'm freaking out. I'm excited like mad. I wake up in complete different states. I'm completely ambivalent from one side to another. But it gets better and better and better. And this is what I want to tell you. Initially, when I made the decision, I get rid of it all. I'll give it all away. And I'll take a mystical journey, a pilgrimage, a spiritual pilgrimage. Or an initiation into my real adulthood. Like, I'm 45 years of age, but I still feel I'm still somehow energetically that child and I have to grow up. So what do they do in the tribes and so on? They go out into the wilderness. They go out. What I learned in the Bible, it says about going into the desert for 40 days and 40 nights to fast. And the desert, translated, means in an unprotected state. So go out there and get yourself through the wilderness, through the jungle of life, whatever it is, and you'll make yourself safe. Show that you're an adult. Show that whatever there is, you'll deal with it and face your fears and face your demons. They're all showing up for the 40 days. And then you'll see it all becomes hopefully much easier if you survive it. What I wanted to say is, for the first couple of days, and it's now a couple of days, I think it's now nearly 10 days ago, where I have just were in trauma, in complete and utter trauma, where I couldn't cope. My mind shut down and says like, no, we're not doing it. This is madness, going on this journey without anything and just letting it all go here. You can't do that. But you know, my vision, my feminine side is stronger because she wanted to do this forever. My inner child wanted to always do this, but there was always something there that I had to prove myself, that I had to find identification for. If it was the sports in my early time, and there became the businessman, and it was always to identify yourself with something that you're good enough. But now it's like, no. I just want to identify myself with that, what I am. And in my highest part there's a Christ nature in me. There's a son or a child of God in me that is so potent, that is incredibly potent. And this is what I want to prove. And I want to show, and I want to inspire people out there to say, it's like, don't be just a son of man, a child of man. Be a child of God. And with all that comes with it. If you need something manifested, you're God. You're all gods. That's what he said. Do it in my name. Or if you do it in my name and follow me, then you will do even greater things than I have done. So I want to figure out what's this all about. And I know the keys. And as they unravel now, it's amazing what happens. Expose yourself to the edges of your comfort zone. Then the trauma reflex goes in, the protection of the mind, the masculinity is trying to make you safe again, to pull you away from the traumatic area or for the danger zone, and pulls you back into your comfort zone to make you safe. So for the first couple of days, it shuts me down. This is what, if there's too much, there comes a shutdown. And we have to get over this, and we have to stand by it and say, look, it's good, it's fine. Make it safe. I use my stethoscope, where I listen to my heartbeat, like the doctors have, right? $20 in a pharmacy, and you're in there. You can listen to your heart. And I believe that in the beat of your heart, like a baby is being put onto the breast of the mother, and as soon as it hits the heartbeat, chills. It's safe. It relaxes. So if we listen to our own heartbeat, there is something really profound happening, because I think in that noise that it makes, in that rhythm that is there, it's so magnetic. It just pulls you down. It just connects you with something that is really not used for adults, but for children. But it still works in us because we all have our inner children in there. And they remember that. And I would say that in the heartbeat, in that noise, in that resonance, there's all information in there. It's like the Om. Om. The heartbeat is the same. Everything is wrapped in that heartbeat, what is important for you. So listen to it. And even though you don't need to understand it, the importance is you get away from putting your tentacles onto the outside world and see what's going on and what I have got to do to make myself safe and to make the environment safe so that I'm safe, or loved for that matter. But what happens with I don't know what it's called, is it a stethoscope? When you put it on the inside, you listen to your inside. So everything goes now to the inside, and from the inside it goes out. And that's really, really amazing. I personally have gotten amazing sleep from it. It just knocked me out, and 5 hours later I woke up and it's like, oh my God. Every time at night I step into bed listening to my heart and I'm gone. But what I wanted to say is, like, when you want, and I want to inspire you to go out there and live your true life, not the life of man, of a child of man, but a child of God. Because there are amazing things to be done in surrender. They're being done to us. We don't have to do something for them. We just have to get ourselves out of the way so that it can come through us. Whatever it wants us to come through, whatever it wants, what this experience should be. Don't judge it, just allow it to be, and know it's for the best, for growth, for expansion, and for the greater benefit of all involved, of the whole universe. So it's letting go, it's not doing anything, allowing it to come. I had now 10 days, or even more than that, where I just allowed myself to settle in with these panic attacks, with these anxiety attacks. Every couple of hours I had to exchange my nappies, basically, because I shut myself, right? So I had to really deal with that. And I had not to judge myself that I ate chocolates and sweets and whatever I could, and alcohol and eating a ton of pasta every day and whatever, just to cope with it. So I understood. It's like, whoa, look, I'm so under stress. So what do I do with this stress? These are my coping mechanisms. Great. Now I know them. Now I can do something. Now I want to do something, because that's not the way how I want to fuel my body with all of that. Now something amazing happens. The mind gets used to the challenge. And the mind, it's a great solution tool. There's a problem and it finds the solution. This is what the masculine is there for, to make you safe. So in sexology, this is really important, right? Because like the masculine and the feminine, we'll take it now as man and woman, which it shouldn't be, right? But just in the typical old traditional sense, the woman have to stop telling the man that it's okay to have bad sex. That's okay, I love you anyway, don't worry about it. It's like, this is the worst you can do. This is maybe for the emotional side really, really difficult. But remember, who you want to talk to is to the problem solver, to the mind, to the masculine that's stuck there. It's like, oh, if it's okay, it's okay. I'm a great man, right? I'm the man. And then it's the typical question, how was it for you? And then I'm asleep. So tell them, no, stop. I'd like you to look into, with me, how we can get more out of our intimate connection. I want to be penetrated deeper. I want longer. I want to achieve X, Y, and Z. Can you help me to get there? I'd like you to be able to do more of it. It's like, whatever. But give him a riddle. He's therefore there to serve you. He's therefore there to make you happy. So therefore, we have to stop caretaking him for whatever it is, and give the masculine the challenge to say, yeah, I'm not really happy with this, so don't get your knickers in the twist. It's all good, but I want more. How can we achieve more? Can you get us to more connection, to greater joy, to greater pleasure, whatever it is, to a longer duration of intercourse and whatever? So, no, I can't. It's not possible. Well, maybe I can. Maybe. Let's see where I can get the answers from. Right? Then suddenly the first thing comes. And just don't judge him on his initial reaction. Because the mind is natural. What it does is, now stop doesn't work. Because uncertainty is the enemy of the mind, of the masculine. It wants certainty. It wants that it keeps going the way how it is, then it's controllable. So when you make changes, when you ask for changes, for improvements, it's like, nah. The bridge is holding up. Why should we change it? It's like, because the cars are getting more now and they're becoming more and more heavy now and they're pulling more and more loads. So we maybe have to strengthen the bridge. It's like, yeah, okay, now I get you. Okay. Right. And you don't judge me for it, that I'm a weak bridge or whatever? No. It's like, okay. Okay, let me look into it. And then suddenly it happens. And this is what happens with me now. 10 days later, after all my panic and anxiety attacks, and like, are you taking me care? Are you judging me for getting in panic? And my feminine says, no, I love you. Take your time, whatever you need, and I'm here. It's like, but I still want to go. Right? Good. And now the mind comes back and he said, do you know what? I thought about it. It's maybe not a bad idea. And this, you always wanted to do this. I can help you with that. And this, I could do that too. I can't promise you if it happens all the time, but I think I have some answers to that. So now the masculine wants to prove himself again. The masculine is there and wants to say, it's like, yeah, here. Because he wants to be loved as much as she wants to be loved. She says, do you know what? I would love to fulfill my dream, my vision. Can you help me with it? And he says, well, really? No, but I really, really want this. Can we? It's like, okay, let me look into it, right? So then it's like this eye to eye, and both of them are working and manifesting that, the experience that she gives as the vision there is. So give it the time. Don't judge yourself for going into panic mode, anxiety mode, and so on, but just like, no. Give it a few days. Allow the process so that you can feel into all the things that are there, that tons of stuff out of your childhood comes up just to be seen, just for you to become aware of how do you deal with these situations. And then you exchange the love and the connection between your two sides, right? The one is holding the other, and when the other one is going in panic mode, the other one gives it love. And then she is going up and he says, now hold on, I need to restrict you a little bit. I'm not that far. Give me some time. I need to come back. So hold the space. Stay there. Or dream on, because we dream our world alive. So keep telling me more details about it. What's your vision? What is it exactly you want? Because I need to figure this out. So tell me, what's your plan? What do you see? Which reference points do you have? Because around reference points, I can pull a line and I can put some control in it and I can make it real. So they're working with each other, but allow them the process. And when that happens, something really, really amazing is in, because then they are in sacred union. They're eye to eye. They know they can't do it without the other. They're not fighting against each other, so then they're working with each other. They collaborate. They're trying to create an equilibrium and a harmony and a balance again, no matter what the state. And so also in bed, in the sexuality side of our beings. Let them come back together and know they cannot do it without the other. They need it together. Like if you're there and you're trying to get more out of sexuality, you have to be responsible for yourself initially, but also rely on your partner, that he's responsible also for you. And the other way around. Your partner is responsible for himself or herself, and also you're responsible for the partner. But let's say in an 80-20 rule, right? You're always responsible for yourself. And if you have an overfilling pot of gold, of juice, of of pleasure, then you can share that pleasure with the other. If you have still capacity after having looked after yourself, you can use that capacity that's there to help out the other one. That's the way. It's like with Lidl, right? And Aldi has been made famous exactly by that concept. They had these production capacities for, I know, 20, 30 years ago, whatever. It was the Pioneer loudspeaker boxes, right? So they said, look, we can still produce 5,000 of the loudspeakers and whatever, but we'll sell them to you, but without the name, right? So then Aldi became massively successful on that basis. They bought excess capacities and is a massive success for all people involved. The client, Aldi, and the producer. Win, win, win. Perfect. And the same works. So allow this process, stay responsible for yourself. If you gain enough responsibility that you're fully covered and that suddenly you're overspilling with it all, then share that excess capacity for the other person. Now I've lost it. Now maybe it was the most important thing. So in that being responsible for yourself, but together. And there's a magic when that becomes eye to eye, when we become fully responsible, fully independent, right? Not like this, we're one, but like we're independent. There's a little gap, and then we build a roof and then build a space in it. In a pillar, there's no space. But in a room with a roof on top of it, there's a space that we create, and that space is called relating. That space is really magic because things can happen in that. And the same is with my head. My head now says, I think there will be some good things in there. I still don't like this and that. This is a little bit uncertain. This is a little bit too uncontrollable. I don't know what to make with that. I'm fearful of that. But she says, keep going. I'll give you some more information. I'll dream this dream more alive, and I'll give you more details. So then you can work with more details. But surrender don't worry about it. I'll let you know as soon as I have more details. Because the magical journey, our hero's journey, really happens over the gap. The gap that we fear to fall into and die. But what happens if we step into this gap and we surrender and we trust and we have belief in God that this is a spiritual journey, that this is the way how to do it through the eye of the camel's, what is it called? The eye through the camel's eye. That's where we need to go through. That's the fear. And as soon as you step over that have that leap of faith and step into the abyss, suddenly this magic step comes along. You couldn't see it. It was invisible, but it's there. It holds you. And if you dare to step one further on in the right moment, and authentically and into your fear with your full heart. Your heart is stronger than the fear. By now, your heart leads you. And the fear is just holding you back to make you safe. Not to bash you up, but just make you safe, that you don't walk too quick. So that you fully can experience it all. To feel whatever is there, to experience it, and through that accept it that's there, exhale it, express it, and let it go, heal it. And so it is. So I'm feeling pretty confident, and I'm ready now that I can give my stuff now away. I have found out, for example, that it's not about getting money for it, but whom I'm giving it to. That my value for this stuff is not terms of monetary, like money, but it's like that the right things go to the right people. So with pictures or books or some statues I had and so on. So for me, that was important that they go in the right. That's the way how I found my way of how do I want to deal with those things. That was authentic for me, and it took nearly 10 days to get through to me. And also now Mercury goes straight again. He comes out of retrograde motion. So the thinking through is over, and now it's really on the 3rd, I think it's going full steam ahead again into straight mode. And today, Mars has joined Jupiter in Aries. So that's huge. If you think those massive expanding and go for it energies that are there, it's like Mars, the masculine's like, look, I'll get the solutions now. I'm ready. Let's go. I have thought about this. I'll support you. I don't know how far I will go, and I'm not sure about this and that, but I'm there. I'm ready to rock and roll now. Have gone out of the anxiety and out of the fear. I'm not paralyzed by it anymore. I'm cautious, and I'll make you safe, but I'm with you. Let's go. Let's move. And Jupiter is already in there, and they're meeting up on the 29th, I think. That'll be interesting. And so, yeah, 35 days to go. Let's get rid of it all. Let's get it into the best hands possible, whatever is here. And then we'll see. So much for today. So whatever you have in your life, make the decision that you're going to do it. And allow yourself a process that you get, if that is so big, that you get into a traumatic moment, that you get into an anxious moment, into a fear, paralisation of fear. Really important. Don't judge it. Just say, now, okay, this is too much now. But we're a survival instinct. So the worst that can happen is that we fall into a coma. The coma is only a problem when you judge yourself. When you get paralyzed by it, when you start eating like a donkey like I do. Or like a hippo is better for me, right? If you do that, don't judge yourself for it. Just accept it and know it. And it's like, okay, look, these are my coping strategies. Oh, I'm going for the bottle. Yeah, you're starting to drink alcohol and so on. And you go home and you sleep. You're not productive anymore. Because you're just, at the moment, it's like you're trying to cope with this. And this is okay. Love yourself in how well you cope. You're not falling apart. You're just trying to cope through different kind of ways. Watch them. Become aware of them. It's like, wow, look, that's a bad coping mechanism that I have gotten used to. Wow, I don't want to do that anymore. Put all the acid in my body the whole time. As soon as I don't feel well or whatever, where I feel too excited, I'll get myself down. If I have no feeling about myself, no self-love, then I'll grab something to bump me up. It's like, what terrible habits. So there's a process to everything. Get into the process. Surrender to the process. Let go of the doing, and just whatever then happens. And if that is going nuts on some addictive behavior, go for it. Watch it. Love yourself whilst doing it. Even in the shadows, right? It's a shadow. Perfect. Great. Become aware what's your shadow. And then from there, you pull it into the light. It becomes aware from the depth and the darkness of the underworld. It comes and it rises up to the surface. And there, only one thing, instead of saying, no, and it'll go down again. It's like, okay, come, lift it up. Fish it out. Make it with love and bring it into the light. Then you have light, more light available. And this is what it's all about. These are the great quantum steps you can do. When you get out of your comfort zone that's controlled in any way, and you say, let's find new ways. So for every couple that's out there, for everyone who hasn't got the sex that they want to have, stop caretaking and protecting the other person. That's an excuse. Have the balls to show up and say, you know what? I want more out of this. Can we work together to get more out of our physical sexual connection? I want to feel you deeper. I want to do even more. I want to bring more shadow out of the darkness and go mad with you. Do you want to go mad with me? Really? See what happens. Don't jump to conclusions straight away, and don't judge the reaction that comes. The reaction is, for most of the people, it's like, not want to do this, like, what's wrong with you? It's like, this is okay. Let it go. Let it go. Leave the process. Speak up again. Speak up again. It's like, okay, she's not changing her tune anymore. I better have to look the solutions. So, because she's not changing her tune. If she's not changing her tune, I have to change my tune. Great. The stronger always influences the weaker. And always do with love. We only get in the mind when we judge it, when we don't get the reaction that we expect, right? But just no, it's not. It's just a reaction of the other side. You have spoken your truth, and the truth is the highest order that you have. Speak your truth. You want more out of it. I'm your partner. I want to have the greatest sex ever. I'm not coming here to have half-decent physical connection. No, I want to be creative. Sexual energy is creative energy, and creative energy wants to be expressed fully. Not with 30 seconds or not in 2 minutes, but fully. In all its forms, light and shadow. It's all one. And if it's not one, then it's an illusion. So, have the balls to do something with your arousals, with your erection. For what are you erect for? What are you standing for? And have the balls to pursue that in that direction. And allow yourself the process to get there, whatever it is. For some, it's much quicker. If you have a Taurine nature than I have, where my moon and my Jupiter is in it, then you'll see it'll take a little bit longer. 10 days or whatever, till you get settled, till you relax, until your nervous system comes to terms with it. And it's like, okay, now I can think about it and do something about it. 35 days to go. Speak soon.